Good morning. Please allow me to keep these glasses on with the sun here, and I'm about 2/3 albino as it is. I need protection. So I'll keep these glasses on and possibly even out of your hands. Speaking of the origin of things, about 6 years ago, the group of us got together and decided to try to have this event put together for the campus, and we broke up into different areas of the campus the first year, and we had topics that we visited about and talked about, basically teaching events. Thought since this was an institution of learning, we could bring that into the realm of what we needed to do, as well as honor veterans. Since that time, we have pushed it now to be an exact event for the college, and this is the result. This is a good turnout for us. There are other events going on as we speak in Ira, and I think probably at the high school, at junior high in Snyder, and we're vying for this hour, but I appreciate you being here, and the attendance to me was absolutely fantastic. I thank you for that. I want to start and let you remember that there'll be some teaching as I go through this. It's what ifs maybe and things like that. But ponder some of these things at a deeper level than just words when I get to them. And I guess the first thing I want to do is give you a little personal background. My name is Burke. I'm a veteran of the Vietnam War. I was stationed in Vietnam in 1967-68. Only spent a year there. At the time, the United States Army decided that if you did a year in Vietnam, you were pretty much immune to any further service overseas in the war zone. So, agree or not, most of us spent our year and never returned. We did have some folks that spent as much time over there as they could. However, that was not my case. I spent a year. I picked the time when there were more casualties that year than any other year that we had. Bad timing on a lot of our parts, but we didn't get the plan. And we have, I don't have an exact number, it seems to change every year, 58,300 names written on the walls. That can attest to the length and the awfulness of that 10 years of history. Now, before I go into anything else, so that I can finish this without getting on the pavement, think about this if you would. Did you know that the square mileage of New Mexico is larger than the country of Vietnam? Our neighbor, New Mexico, has more square miles than Vietnam. Now, there's no question after this. It's just something for you to think about and think about the events that happened. Currently, we're paralleling that with another 10-year war in Afghanistan. They say it's over, doubtful. But Texas is larger than Afghanistan, square mileage. And it begs a lot of whys, but there again, we may never know. So anyway, as we go through here, I'm going to ask you to do a little thinking, pondering, and go from there. One I had trouble with, our 10-year war in Vietnam, and I really wish I had an answer if you hadn't talked to me after this, is why in 10 years we killed 58,000 Americans, and in 10 years Afghanistan only sustained 2,000 casualties. That will be a mystery until someone can explain it to me. 10 years is 10 years. The difference in the American boys that were killed is phenomenal. Anyway, Now that I've got everybody just kind of down in the dumps, let me see if I can pull somebody back up. I want to share a memory again of a young man that lives in Vietnam, a young black boy from North Carolina that had signed up for Marine boot camp back in 1969. His name was Dan Bullock. Dan lied about his age. He got in, he got past everybody, and immediately went to boot camp. Immediately was sent to Vietnam. I don't even know if he got a break, but he went over there. 18 days later, he was shot and killed carrying ammunition to his buddies who were in a firefight. He had just turned 15. So, 14 when he signed up, 15 when he died. Every year, about this time, we do get a break at Thanksgiving, and I go to the DFW area where I have family. And I was out jogging last year on the track there where I go. And there were a few people jogging. There were two guys, two young black men on the infield that were doing some type of drills. Just getting, I mean, they were working hard, sweating like crazy, and it was not that hot that day. They were in warm-up pants. They were dragging around sleds. They were lifting weights. They were doing dashes, running distance. And it took me a while. It took me about 30 minutes to do my thing. And, I was casually jogging around, enjoying the music and occasionally watching those guys. And about the time I finished, they were picking up some of the equipment they had used. And one of the young men was one of the young men was sitting on the bench waiting for his buddy to clean up after him. I jogged by and noticed he didn't have any legs. Well, needless to say, I had to go stick my nose in their business, and I walked by and turned out they were rehabbing from a roadside bomb blast in Afghanistan. I thanked them for their service and for giving me one of the greatest Thanksgivings that I've had. I remember those young men and will forever. Another memory, Mike Martinez, local man, local boy, local WTC student, Marine Corps veteran. Mike was in the Marine Corps in the early 2000s. Mike was nominated for the Marine Corps Athlete of the Year. Now, the Marine Corps Athlete of the Year encompasses every Marine currently on duty. Mike, I think, is still in town. I believe I saw him on campus not long ago. One of the finest young men I've ever known. Snyder has been more than generous to this country for its contributions, especially the men and women who have served over the years. I think the explanation of what the U.S. Army calls the MOS, it's a recognition of different types of jobs that are issued in the Army, ranging from infantry, grunt, whatever you call those guys that actually fire the weapons, back to cooks and clerks and the entire gamut of the work needed to field a fighting soldier, which I understand is about 10 to 1. So you can see that most of the actual fighting was done by fewer people than possibly you knew. I was going to mention that possibly the most, well, this is bad English, but the most awful MOS I could imagine would be one that my brother held, who was serving in the Army at the same time I was as a tank commander. But when he returned to Fort Knox, he was assigned the duty of taking envelopes to families of soldiers who had been killed. And to me, I think this would be probably the worst MOS of any that I can think, and there are hundreds of them. We fielded 2 Burkes that year, and I'm proud to do it. I, for some reason, am not quite as bright as he is. I stayed in 4 years, he stayed in 3. He had served as tank commander in Fort Knox and had graduated from Texas A&M, where, as you well know, back in those days, it was strictly military. He had served a year at West Point, trying to see if he wanted that. He didn't like West Point. He said at West Point all they wanted to do is screw your buddy to get ahead instead of A&M. It was right the opposite. You were there to work with and assist your buddy. So he left. He told him to pack it, he'd go back to A&M again. At any rate, I wanted to toss that in today to let you know again of the sacrifice that so many people have given, even here in this crowd today. And I apologize for my presentation. So, I'm not through, but I'm going to stop at this. I want you to know that this time of year, for those of you who have folks overseas, remember that this is really a tough time for those guys over there during Christmas and Thanksgiving, New Year's. It just makes being absent that much harder. So please remember that and do what you can. I know that in my time, telephone service was non-existent. No callbacks for us, and I'm sure today that's a joke. You could probably call from a foxhole, I don't know. But today, remember that if you have someone over there during this next month and 2, 3 months, send extra letters, send something nice and fuzzy and maybe sweet, I don't know, but anything at this time really lightens the load for those guys overseas. Now, the Scurry County Museum is currently doing something up there. Daniel's had that under wraps now for a month or so. And before I continue to stand up here and melt away into a big blob, I'm gonna ask you to, when we finish here today, please go through there and look at the exhibits and ask questions. And if you're a veteran, please get your name down to Sarah. They're not through with us, guys. They're going to continue to do this, and it's going to be bigger every year, we hope. Thank you for putting up with this. And God bless you.